I have never believed in ghosts until recently. You may have seen my reaction video to the scariest places caught on Google Maps. Well, a lot of the scariest locations on that video are very remote, hard to get to, and most people won't ever stumble across them. However, there is one location in particular that stands out amongst the rest. It's the Silent Hill in the woods. It looks like a normal dirt road, but it's cursed by a dark entity that haunts drivers passing by. After doing some research, I found countless stories of terrifying encounters with this ghost road. People have experienced inexplicable car malfunctions, unexplainable crashes, unexplained feelings of dread, and even ghostly figures. So many people have come forward with their stories about this place, which makes it all the more compelling. I couldn't help but wonder, what if we drove down this road ourselves? What if we went to this silent hill and tested our luck? Now, while I don't believe in ghosts or demons or anything like that, I am intrigued by the paranormal, and I'm always up for a good scare. Maybe it would be fun to drive down this road at night, experience it for ourselves. I reached out to a friend and suggested the idea to him. He was immediately on board and agreed to go with me. The next day, we got in the car and started driving towards this silent hill. We expected it to be like any other road. However, what we found instead was truly shocking. As we approached the entrance to the silent hill, our GPS suddenly lost signal. At first, we didn't think much of it. GPS signals can be spotty in rural areas. But then we realized that it wasn't just our GPS that was malfunctioning. Our phones were losing signal as well. We checked our connections and made sure they were strong, but nothing changed. It was almost as if the woods themselves were blocking our connection to the outside world. We continued driving. Despite the eerie atmosphere, we reached the fork in the road where we needed to make a decision. Do we turn left or right? There seemed to be two paths, both leading deep into the forest. What made this moment even more unsettling was the fact that we had no service. If anything went wrong, we would be completely alone. After discussing it, we decided to split up and check out both paths. We agreed to meet back at the fork in the road in 20 minutes. If we didn't find anything, then we would move on. As we split up and headed down our respective paths, the trees seemed to close in around us, blocking out the sunlight and casting long, eerie shadows on the ground. The deeper we drove, the more intense the feeling of dread became. Suddenly, my car started to shake violently. At first, I thought maybe it was just a bump in the road. But as the shaking continued, I realized something was wrong. I pulled over to the side of the road and got out to check on my tire. I must admit I was expecting to see a flat tire. But what I found was absolutely bizarre. Not a single nail, not a single screw, not a single bolt. Yet my tire was completely flat. The tire was fine a moment ago. I'm absolutely certain of it. How could it have gotten flat without any damage? My mind was racing, trying to come up with a logical explanation. But the longer I stood there, the more I realized there was none. There was absolutely no way to explain it. Frustrated and confused, I got back into my car and continued down the path. Just then, I spotted my friend waving to me from the other side of the road. He motioned for me to come back to the fork in the road. I was eager to hear what he had to say. When we met back up, we compared notes and realized that both paths were strange. His car had also gotten flat. It was almost as if the road itself didn't want us to pass. But we had come too far to turn back now. With no other options, we continued driving down the right path. The road was bumpy and uneven, but we pressed on. And then, out of nowhere, the road ended abruptly. We were met with a steep drop-off and a dense wall of trees that blocked our way. We had reached the end of the road. Just then, the sky darkened and rain began to pour down. The atmosphere was thick with tension as we sat there contemplating our next move. But it was my friend who broke the silence first. "Let's go back," he said, his voice shaking slightly. "This place is giving me the creeps." I didn't argue. I knew he was right. There was something sinister about this place, something that we couldn't understand. We turned the car around and started the long journey back. As we drove, the rain intensified, making it difficult to see. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, the wipers stopped working. I frantically searched for the problem, but couldn't find anything. It was as if the car itself was determined to keep us from leaving. Finally, we reached the fork in the road and let out a sigh of relief. We had made it, but our relief was short-lived. Suddenly, our headlights flickered and died, plunging us into darkness. We were stranded in the middle of nowhere, without any lights, without any cell service, and now without a way out. We considered walking to the nearest road, but the rain had turned the ground to mud, and we were afraid we would get stuck. We decided to wait it out and see if the car would start. But as the minutes ticked by, it became clear that we were in trouble. Just then, we heard a loud crash in the forest. It was followed by a low growl that seemed to echo around us. We looked at each other in horror, unsure of what to do. It felt like something was out there watching us. Every rustle of leaves, every creak of a tree branch sent shivers down our spines. We huddled in the car, trying to stay warm and calm, but the forest was relentless. Then, just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, the growling started again. It was closer this time, as if whatever was out there had found us. In a panic, we turned the key, and the car sputtered to life. We didn't waste a second. We raced away from the fork in the road, desperate to escape the clutches of the forest. As we drove away, we could have sworn we heard the sound of heavy footsteps pounding on the road behind us. We didn't stop driving until we reached the edge of the woods. We had made it out, but the experience had shaken us to our core. Even now, as I sit here trying to piece together what happened to us that night, I can't help but feel that we barely escaped with our lives. The silent hill has left an indelible mark on my soul, and I'm not sure if I'll ever fully recover from it. If you are brave enough to visit this place yourself, then please let me know your experiences down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to leave a big thumbs up. And finally, if you haven't done so already, then what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button